Hi, I'm Megan Baker, and this is Influence Her. Our guest this month on Influence Her is Kiya Tomlin. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. Kiya is a lifelong artist. You are a fashion designer and an entrepreneur. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do in your background?
Yeah, so what we do is I design women's wear. The whole concept is comfortable, wearable, easy to take care of, but still kind of glam. And all of our designs are made from our signature blend of bamboo, cotton, spandex fabric. It's all machine washable, and almost everything has pockets. If we can get pockets in them, we put them in there because we know that women love pockets. But that's basically the aesthetic of what we do, and it just stems from my love of fashion since I was a little girl. I've always sewn and designed from the time I was 10 or 11 years old, really because I was just too small to fit the clothes that like the cool kids were wearing. Mm-hmm. So I learned to sew, and I didn't attend design school initially. I kind of just thought it was a hobby. I didn't know that it could actually be a career, but then circled back around years later when it like fit my lifestyle, and kind of missed doing my own thing. So that's where the brand started.
You were pre-med.
I was.
So what was that transition like from pre-med to fashion?
You know, surprisingly, there's a lot of overlap between like pre-med medical students and fashion design. I come across a lot of people that have made a similar transition. I just attribute it to like you're working with the body, you're cutting, I don't know. That's what I think. But yeah, I think because I had always sewn and designed, and that was always my outlet, and kind of my self-care was to kind of get in the zone and do that. When med school didn't quite sync up with my family life and where we were at that point, and so I kind of set that kind of goal aside and went to figure out what the next thing would be. And a friend's mother gave me the advice that figure out what you love to do and find a way to make money doing it. So it was easy to know. Yeah, it was easy to know what I love to do. I'd been doing it my whole life, and then I just had to figure out how to make money doing it.
Now you started with wedding gowns and evening gowns.
Yes.
What were some of the designs? What was your inspiration?
So still, my aesthetic has really always still been the same. Very clean, very classic, simple, volume silhouettes. When I was doing bridal and evening wear, I was really inspired by fabric, and that was really what drove fabric and women's bodies, because for the most part, especially in custom design, the reason that women come to you, it's not to do the the little starlit red carpet gown. You don't get very many of those. Instead, you get a lot of women who just can't find what they're looking for that looks good, that fits their body on the rack. And so I got really well versed in flattering and designing for and fitting women of all different shapes and sizes, which I understand is fairly unique for a fashion designer, because most designers are taught to
fast fashion, right?
Yeah, well, you're also taught to dress a mannequin, an ideal shape. Most people are not taught to take into account all the variations that we have and how to design for them, how to fit for them. So I carried that kind of experience and expertise into our ready-to-wear collection, and I think that's one of the things that really resonates with our customers.
What can you tell about a woman's personality through her style, through her fashion?
Oh, well, you can tell what she wants you to know, because really fashion can be like a costume. It can give off more or different than what we're really feeling and what our personality really is, which is what I think is so cool about fashion, is that you really can dress and design for someone that you may not be, someone you want to be, someone you feel like that day.
Who is one woman that comes to mind that you really love, like her style?
Oh, this is so easy, because this is actually kind of like the inspiration for the aesthetic of the brand. And I did not realize this at the time. It kind of came to me years later, but start back when I was, you can go back to when I was 8 years old. I went to sleepaway gymnastics camp, and there was a little girl in the cabin next door to me, that we became fast friends. And really, I think it was because we were the only two little black girls about that age at the camp. And so we kind of bonded and became friends. And later in the week, she, told me that her mother was coming to visit midweek, which the parents usually come on the weekends, but it was midweek, and she said, hey, do you want to go up to the lodge with me and meet my mom? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So, it's Thursday evening, we walk up to the lodge, and her mother is standing on the balcony of the main lodge, and she's dressed head to toe in like white silk chiffon. Of course, I didn't know what that was at the time, but it was just, yes, and it was just billowing, just layers of it, just blowing in the wind. And she had this hair that was just huge and sunlit from the back, and it was just glowing. And she came really just floated down the stairs to the grass where we were, and in her all white silk chiffon, she just sat down on the ground with us like it was nothing. And at that, growing up, we were never allowed to own anything white. That was forbidden.
Taboo, right?
Yes. So to see this woman in all this white, delicate fabric and just sit down like it was nothing was such an impression on me. But even better is when she sat down, I realized it was Diana Ross.
Oh, wow.
And so with my design aesthetic, that's
Very
what I'm
classy.
going for. Yeah, that elegance, that confidence, that comfort, but that outfit she had on was wow, but just, she was so comfortable in herself and so elegant that she could just do whatever in it. And so that's really the basis of my designs.
What a great experience. What a great experience. What is your biggest fashion faux pas or pet peeve, I guess?
Panty lines. Yeah, panty lines drive me crazy.
I think we used to call those visible
yes,
panty lines.
VPLs, yep, visible panty lines, yep.
I'm dating myself. I'm glad you know what that is too. Back during COVID, you took on the task of creating masks in your home for Allegheny. What was that like? I mean, at one point, 400 a day that you were sewing and delivering to healthcare workers?
Yeah, so when COVID hit and we had to, kind of shut down business, I remember meeting with my super small team, and I said, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how long we'll survive. I've got so much money in the bank account, I'm going to keep paying you until it runs out, and we'll just see what happens. But in my heart, I felt like we're small, we're nimble, we're flexible, we're creative, that we could do something that would keep us afloat and come out thriving. And so as we're sitting at home, I'm watching the news, and there was I want to say it was maybe in Indiana or something, there was a hospital that had put a call out for home sewers to make these cloth masks. And so I kind of looked into it, and then I kind of reached out around our area to see if there was any need in our area for that. And there wasn't quite at the time. Pittsburgh had not been hit to that magnitude yet. But we were the Allegheny Health Network was you know what, we'd be happy to have some, for our staff. And we used just fun prints that I've got a attic full of fabric because I'm a hoarder. So we just used fun prints with animals and fruits and just exciting bright colors. And they really liked the kind of cheer that they were bringing to the workers. But as the pandemic kind of edged on, there really became a demand for it. There, were no masks in the area, so we started supplying them to emergency workers, police stations, firemen, and then people from across the country started asking. And we weren't charging anything for them. We were just making them and sending them out. And it was, my little team. It was 4 of us. We were each sewing about 100 a day, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, I teamed up with Highmark Health Network and was able to design the prints for masks for their $1 million, 1 million mask initiative that they gave away. And so that was the coolest thing to just be driving around town and really all over the region and see someone wearing a mask that I had designed. And we really did cool. Team up with some other local manufacturers to actually sew those masks as well.
Now, Oprah Winfrey picked up one of your designs.
Yes.
How did she find you?
I'm not really sure.
A good publicist, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. So our Twisted Tea was named to Oprah's favorite things list in 2021, and I can attest that the Oprah touch is magic. And the cool thing was that we made so many shirts in-house, and in talking to Oprah's team as we were gearing up for the release of the list, because we did know about a month in advance that we were going to make the list, but keep it top secret. They were saying that how at that time that so many companies just had no inventory. And since we were not only made in America, but made in Pittsburgh in my own studio, we had a lot more control over that. And so we were able to really thrive in that opportunity.
Who has been, if you can share this, who has been one of your favorite clients?
One of my favorite clients? Oh.
Or designs that you've made for a wedding gown or an evening gown?
Oh, okay. I do. So I stopped doing custom design years ago, especially bridal. I put away long time ago. Custom design I stopped once our ready to wear collection picked up. But a woman did come to me, and she was the mother of the groom for a wedding, and her son's wedding. This was going to be the first time that she saw her husband and his new wife, who was the woman that he left her for, at this wedding. So of course I had to make the revenge dress.
Oh, that is a great story.
So that's the best. That's probably my best client.
I love that. So what is next for you? And are you coming out with any new designs?
Yeah, so we are headed into our third year with an NFL license. And so we're adding on 11 new teams for 2023.
Great.
That will bring us to a total of 21 of the teams. And then for 2024, we'll add on the last 11 teams to kind of complete the whole league.
And I don't think I need to ask you, what is your favorite team?
Absolutely.
you might get some...
Pittsburgh Steelers, of course. But aside from that, we're also in the process of bringing that manufacturing back home. We had outsourced that before, and now we are keeping it here in Pittsburgh and doing it under our own roof.
I love it.
So very cool.
Let me ask you this. Do you give Coach Tomlin any fashion advice? Does he take it from you?
I do. It has to be subtle, though. He's got a lot of rules. He doesn't wear logos. He doesn't wear like Uber designer stuff. Nothing flashy.
Simple.
So yeah, it's got to be. I have to stay within the parameters.
Kiya Tomlin, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for being a guest on Influence Her.
Thank you for having me.